Good Monday, everyone, and welcome to this edition of Conversations Daily News. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again. Well, it's a brand new day, it's a brand new week, which means it's a brand new opportunity for you to do something amazing, and it all begins today. We, of course, have your news headlines coming up on this Monday. We have the truth of the day with Mary Ellen Ciganovich, and in today's entertainment spotlight, being part of my conversation with Todd Ault III, the founder of Alzheimer's Neuro, talking about his fight against Alzheimer's disease. Enjoy today's broadcast. For Conversations Daily News, I'm Cyrus Webb with your Monday headlines. In Mississippi news, medical associations meet to discuss recent COVID-19 surge. The Mississippi State Medical Association met with the American Medical Association to discuss the recent surge in coronavirus cases. State epidemiologist Dr. Paul Beers says we have hit record COVID-19 cases numbers in the Magnolia State. Beers said this wave crashed over the state quicker than the winter month surge, with more than 100 deaths within 4 days. The rise in cases is putting a strain on hospitals and institutions across the state. We have now surpassed the peak we had over the winter months, which we thought was pretty tough at that time, and I think one of the staggering pieces is the repetitiveness of how fast we've gone up, Beers said. Beers said they are seeing a growing age group for outbreaks in children 6 to 10 years old. In international news, Taliban sweep into Afghan capital after government collapses. The Taliban swept into Afghanistan's capital on Sunday after the government collapsed and the embattled president joined an exodus of his fellow citizens and foreigners, signaling the end of a costly 2-decade U.S. campaign to remake the country. Heavily armed Taliban fighters fanned out across the capital, and several enter Kabul's abandoned presidential palace. A Taliban spokesman and negotiator told the Associated Press that the militants would hold talks in the coming days aimed at forming an open, inclusive Islamic government. Earlier, a Taliban official said the group would announce from the palace the restoration of the Islamic Emirate of Afghanistan, the formal name of the country under Taliban rule, before the militants were ousted by U.S.-led forces in the wake of the 9/11 attacks, which were orchestrated by al-Qaeda while it was being sheltered by the Taliban. But that plan appeared to be on hold. Kabul was gripped by panic. Helicopters raced overhead throughout the day to evacuate personnel from the U.S. Embassy. Smoke rose near the compound as staff destroyed important documents and the American flag was lowered. Several other Western missions also prepared to pull their people out. Fearful that the Taliban could reimpose the kind of brutal rule that all but eliminated women's rights, Afghans rushed to leave the country, lining up at cash machines to withdraw their life savings. The desperately poor, who had left homes in the countryside for the presumed safety of the capital, remained in parks and open spaces throughout the city. Many people watched in disbelief as helicopters landed in the U.S. Embassy compound to take diplomats to a new outpost at the airport. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken rejected comparisons to the U.S. pullout from Vietnam. In a related story, concerns over U.S. terror threats rising as Taliban hold grows. Another 1,000 U.S. troops were being sent to Afghanistan to help evacuate U.S. personnel after the Taliban appeared poised to take control of the country. The rapid collapse of the Afghan government left American officials increasingly concerned about the potential for a rise in terrorist threats against the United States. General Mark Milley, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, told senators on a briefing call Sunday the U.S. officials are expected to alter their earlier assessments about the pace of terrorist groups reconstituting in Afghanistan. A person familiar with the matter told the Associated Press. President Joe Biden and other top U.S. officials were stunned on Sunday by the pace of the Taliban's nearly complete takeover of Afghanistan as the planned withdrawal of American forces urgently became a mission to ensure a safe evacuation. The speed of the Afghan government's collapse and the ensuing chaos posed the most serious test of Biden as commander-in-chief, as he was the subject of withering criticism from Republicans who said that he had failed. Biden campaigned as a seasoned expert in international relations and has spent months downplaying the prospect of an ascended Taliban while arguing that Americans of all political persuasions have tired of a 20-year war, a conflict that demonstrated the limits of money and military might to force a Western-sized democracy. By Sunday, leading figures in administration acknowledged they were caught off guard with the utter speed of the collapse of Afghan security forces. The challenge of that effort became clear after reports of sporadic gunfire at the Kabul airport prompted Americans to shelter as they awaited flights to safety. And finally, in entertainment news, Free Guy gives box office a lift, opening with $28 million. Free Guy, an action comedy starring Ryan Reynolds as a background character in a video game, opened better than expected over the weekend, collecting an estimated $28 million in ticket sales despite a marketplace challenge by COVID-19. MGM and United Artists Aretha Franklin biopic Respect, starring Jennifer Hudson, debuted with $8 million. Respect, which has drawn praise for Hudson's leading performance, also landed an A rating by CinemaScore. Cyrus Webb, Conversations Daily News. It's now time for the Truth of the Day with Mary Ellen Ciganovich. Mary Ellen, take it away.
Hi, this is Mary Ellen with your Truth of the Day. Explore fresh ways of observing your world. You may want to begin by finding ways to grow spiritually, or you may want to take chances and seize opportunities for fun. Either way, with a strong sense of confidence and security in your abilities, you can feel both motivated and assertive. You become willing to expand your horizons. Your basic needs are taken care of, so it becomes easier to contemplate integrating other desires into your life. Your world can grow because you have created a good foundation, and it is solid. If you do not have this good foundation yet, begin rebuilding your foundation. Guidance from others that you see as successful. There are always successful people willing to mentor to others. You may have to ask more than once. Just be polite and understand that all successful people are very busy. Today, be ready to branch out into unfamiliar territory as new challenges and opportunities emerge. And enjoy your day.
Todd Ault III, founder of Alzheimer's Neuro, is featured in today's Entertainment Spotlight, right here on Conversations Daily News. For Conversations Daily News, I'm Cyrus Webb with Entertainment Spotlight. Todd Ault III, the founder of Alzheimer's Neuro, joined me recently on Conversations Live's radio show to talk about his company's personal fight against Alzheimer's disease. Here's a bit of our conversation.
People told you what was not possible, what you would not be able to do. What has it been like for you now to see already what Alzheimer's Neuro is able to do?
Well, I mean, the personal journey starts with my father, who has Alzheimer's, who's in an Alzheimer's clinic. Went in there about 2 months ago. My mother-in-law passed away from it. My grandparents died from it. My father's brothers and sisters have it, in moderate to early to some of the severe stages. And effectively, I saw a show with Sanjay Gupta about 6 years ago on CNN, and it was a show about a vaccine and treatment that happened to be in the weed space, the marijuana space, the cannabis space. And he was doing a show about the University of South Florida. I saw a doctor on there talking about a vaccine, and something triggered in me. I told my 15-year-old daughter, I'm going to try to cure Alzheimer's, which I think she thought I was crazy. And here we are 6 years later. The company went public on the NASDAQ under the symbol ALZN. It's now publicly traded. And we're going into human beings with our first drug, so we're pretty excited.
What was it like for you to go about finding people, because you even named people that day when you rang the bell, who kind of helped you get to that place? What was it like for you to find those people who were willing to not only to support you, but also invest in the work?
Well, you definitely did your research. We just did ring the bell. It was an emotional day. I couldn't have my father there. My mom was there. I would say to you that it is a little overwhelming because what started off as an idea, we just got the study may proceed letter from the FDA, and that took place because of Stefan Jackman, the CRO we hired, Art Spalding, and others. They got together with a bank that helped fund the company, an investment bank.
Cyrus Webb, Conversations Daily News. We thank you all for tuning in to this edition of Conversations Daily News. But back to you guys on tomorrow with more news, Truth of the Day with Mary Ellen Ciganovich, and of course your Entertainment Spotlight. Until then, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Thank you all for choosing Conversations Daily News today. Let's make it a great one.